Welcome to your Circuit and Tabata class. For equipment today, we're going to use weights. You're going to need a set of heavy weights for our lower body work. I'm using a pair of 20-pound weights, so each one is 20 pounds. And then you're also going to need a set of medium to light set of weights when we do our upper body and core work. So err on the lighter side of medium, whatever that means to you. I have a pair of 8-pound weights, and just in case I need to drop down, I also have a set of 5-pound weights on hand. If you're new to Circuit and Tabata classes, these are kind of boot camp-esque in that we alternate between strength circuits and more cardio-intensive Tabatas. First half of class is focused on lower body, second half of class is more upper body and core focused. In each of the strength circuits, I'm going to give you 5 exercises. You do them each for 45 seconds with 5 seconds of transition time in between each one. Once you've completed all 5, you rest for 30 seconds before repeating. In total, you do 3 sets of the circuit. For the Tabatas, I give you 2 exercises and you alternate between them using an interval structure of 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest, 8 times. In between each of the chunks of class, you get a full minute to recover while I show you the upcoming exercises. So it'll be lower body strength circuit, a minute to recover, lower body Tabata, minute to recover, upper body and core strength circuit, minute to recover, upper body and core focused Tabata. We start class with a guided warm-up that is focused on mobility and building some heat in the body, gradually bringing that heart rate up, and then we finish up class with a quick guided cool down. When we get to the Tabatas, I will have low impact modifications on the screen if you want to avoid jumping. Otherwise, when we're in the strength circuits, your best way to modify, just drop down, use lighter weights, or anytime there's an exercise where we're using both weights, you could always opt to just hold one instead. All right, with all that said, we're going to jump right into our warm-up. I'm just going to move these out of the way. You do not need your weights to start. I want you to start standing. Big inhale, expand through the rib cage. And then as you exhale, I want you to nod the chin and roll forward vertebrae by vertebrae, coming all the way down into a forward fold. You can unlock the knees. On your next inhale, you're going to slide your hands up your shins, elongating the spine, coming into sort of this neutral or flat back position. And then exhale, fold back down again. On your next inhale, I want you to roll all the way back up to standing. Let's do that again. As you exhale, nod the chin, roll forward vertebrae by vertebrae. Inhale, elongate through the spine. Exhale, release. And inhale, roll it all the way back up to stand. Let's do that one more time. Nod the chin. Exhale, fold forward. Can't talk. Inhale, elongate. Exhale, fold. And then this time, instead of rolling up to stand, I want you to just bend and straighten through your knees. So deep bend, chest can kind of melt onto the thighs, and then straighten through the legs. Fingertips can be lightly on the floor. Don't stress about if your hands are touching or not. One more time. And then unlocking the knees, I want you to come into that elongated position, so we're kind of in a hinge. Arms are going to reach forward at a diagonal, and we're going to come into a spinal twist, so you might need to bring your feet a little closer in towards each other. I want you to take your right hand and bring it to the outside of your left knee, and this left arm is going to twist open, and then square it off. Now, yes, the arm is lifting and lowering, but where's the twist coming from? Your spine. So don't just fling your arm open. You can see your hand in your peripheral vision the whole time. Keep reaching that tailbone long. One more time this side. And then we're just going to switch. So now your left hand comes to the outside of that right knee. Press your right knee into the hand so there's some stability there. And then we twist open and close. So we're going to do some mobility work, especially for the shoulders and the spine in this hinged position, because it's important to establish this connection to our mid-back before we add in the weights. So now from here, both arms reach forward, and let's just trace nice big circles, staying in this hinge. So as the arms lift up and open up, we are not flaring open through the rib cage, so we're maintaining that connection to our abdominal wall. Switch direction of your circles. Two more. And then one more. Hands facing towards each other and just do a reverse fly for me. We're going to switch the focus into our lower body a little bit. Hands are going to come to heart center. If you had walked your feet in closer for that twist, you'll take the feet back out wide to about hips distance. Little squat with a hinge in 3, 2, 1. Hands to heart center. Separate those feet if needed. So you're going to drop your hips down into your squat position. You're going to stand it up tall. You hip hinge. You drop to a squat. Stand it up. We have one more thing for the hips before we come into some light cardio and dynamic movement. It's going to be a hip circle to a back lunge. Let's do one more in this hinge squat combo and come up to standing. All right, now from here, let's start with your left knee. You're going to lift that left knee up like you're marching. You're going to hinge open, opening it out to the left. Circle it back and around, and now bend into your front right knee as that left foot plants and you come into your back lunge. Same thing, stand, lift the left knee. Circle it open and back. Land in your back lunge. Twice more this side. Ooh, I got a good crack. Nice little pop out of my hip there. Stand it up and switch sides. So now your right knee is going to lift up like a march. Circle it back. Land in that low lunge. Lift, circle, lunge. One more time. And come to stand. All right, we're going to start with just some light cardio, some jumping jacks, but I want you to fly your arms in and out, so it's going to be a crisscross with the legs. If you do not want to jump, you're going to step, step, one side at a time. 2 movements, we'll just alternate between them 3 times. First is this jumping jack. Second, it's going to be a side lunge. Feet will be wide. We'll just bend into one knee at a time. Opposite hand towards opposite foot in 4, 3, wide stance in 2, 1, wide stance, toes point forward. You're going to bend into one knee as you do. Opposite hand comes down towards it, up and over to the other side. Adding in a slight twist through the torso. Don't worry if your hand is actually touching the floor, okay? Little reach, reach, getting in some lateral movement here. We'll go back to those jumping jacks. This time it'll be a traditional jumping jack though. So arms will sweep up and down in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. And again, if you want to step instead of jump, go for it. Back to our wide stance, side lunge in 4, 3, 2, 1. Wide stance, let's go. Up and over. Think of engaging through your inner thighs as you do this, so that your knees aren't flaring open to the side. They're staying tracking forward in line with those middle toes. Last round of those jumping jacks, we'll go back to the crisscross with the fly in 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So same variation we started with. Side lunge, final time in 4 feet wide in 3, in 2, and 1. Up and over, side to side. Hips shift to the right, shift to the left. We're going to finish up our warm-up with world's greatest stretch. You will pivot over towards the right, hands to the inside of that right foot. In 3, 2, come over to the right, pivot. Hands come to the inside of that front foot. Now I want you to take your inside right hand and I want you to lift it up towards the ceiling, twisting open. Bring that right hand down to the floor. Step your right foot back into a plank. Same thing left side. Left foot steps forward. Left arm lifts up. Close the twist. Step it back to plank. Keep alternating. Right. To the left. Last time to the right. Finish on the left. And hold your plank. Up from here, I want you to squeeze the quads and glutes, gentle bracing through the core. I just want you to rock the whole shape forward and back. So a little ankle and wrist mobility, challenging that core control. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, last 2, and 1. Hips up, walk your hands in towards your feet, roll it up to stand, and I'm going to show you our first circuit. First up, you have both heavy weights. It's going to be a deadlift, then a back lunge on the right, deadlift, then a back lunge on the left. From there, you're going to rack those weights on your shoulders. We're going to come into a weighted squat. You're going to add a pulse every time you're at the bottom. So squat, 1 pulse, come up. Squat, 2 pulses, come up, and so on. From there, we drop down to just 1 weight. It's going to be a squat clean and then a get up, coming to kneel, back to your low squat position. We then stay down on our knees for a kneeling hip hinge. You can use just 1 weight, or you could go back to using both weights for that one. We finish up body weight. It's going to be a reverse tabletop. You're alternating, lifting those hips up with 1 foot staying down and then the next. If that one bothers your wrist, just give me a glute bridge instead, so you would lay on the ground with the knees bent, feet flat. Okay, let's go. Okay, so grab both heavy weights. First exercise, it's going to be that deadlift and then a back lunge, and we alternate the back lunge. Feet about hips distance apart. Keep your neutral spine as the hips hinge back. Squeeze to the glutes as you come to the top. 1 foot steps back, you're in a low back lunge. Drive it up to the top. Deadlift. And now just step your other foot back. So when you do that deadlift, it's not about getting super, super low. It's about maintaining a neutral spine. So you want to stay open through the chest. Don't let the weights round forward. So when you do it, think about keeping the weights pretty close to your shins and your legs. If they're way far out in front of you, your shoulders might round. Whew, rest. Okay, we're going to rack those weights on our shoulders now. We have that heavy squat. You add a pulse every time you're at the bottom. So take it down low. First time, just 1 pulse. Up an inch, down an inch, come to the top. Now, next time you're at the bottom, 2 pulses. If you get to a point where adding on a pulse is too much, then just do what you can. Woo. Whew. All right, rest. We're going to drop, or not rest, but transition. We're going to drop down to just 1 weight. Squat clean with that get up. So stack your weight up and down like this. Open through the chest, sit low. You clean it. Return it to the mat. And then you're going to go knee, knee, foot, foot, coming back into that low squat. Squat clean. Return it to the mat. And now your other side is going to lead the way. Okay, now we're coming to kneel. You can do 1 or both weights for this one. I want your knees a little wider than hips distance apart, feet together. You're going to sit your butt back towards your heels, and you're going to squeeze to the seat, come up to kneel. So think of that hip hinge. Don't let your knees go too wide though. And I just want your butt to touch your heels. Don't sit all the way down. I don't want you to shift weight onto it. Okay, weights go down. We have that reverse tabletop. You're going to alternate. 1 heel will stay down, then the next. Spread out through your fingers, open through the chest. So you drive through the hips. Come to a hover, other foot comes down, other side. So the lift is coming, by firing through the glutes, not by clenching your low back. So I need you to brace through your abdominals as you lift up so you don't hyperextend into that back. I know it's hard, but try to stay open through the chest. Oh, and rest. Okay, you have 30 seconds to recover here. We're going to start that back at the top. Deadlift with the alternating back lunge. So you're going to need both weights, open through the chest, so you're engaged through that mid-back area. Hip hinge deadlift. Come to the top. 1 foot steps back. Deadlift. Other foot steps back. Okay, you're gonna rack those weights on your shoulders. If you need to modify, you can always just hold one weight for these squats, adding a pulse every time. So just 1 pulse your first rep, 2 your next. I had to cut down my pulses. Whew, okay, transition. Down to 1 weight, squat clean with the get up. So low squat, open through the chest. 1 clean. Turn it to the mat. Knee, knee, as little rocking as possible. Through the hips. Lead with the other side. On that clean, it's like you're zippering up a jacket. So keep the weight close to your torso, right at the center. Whew, okay, down to kneel. 1 or both weights. Just for a different grip, I'm holding mine like this. Do what works for you. All right, we lower the bum to our heels. Fire through the seat, come up. Now here's the challenge. When you come up to the top, I don't want you leaning back like this. I really want you to try to come upright all the way, almost to the point where it feels like you could lose balance and topple forward. I don't want you to, but I want your glutes and core to really have to fire at the top, okay? Weights go down. All right, reverse tabletop. If it bothers your wrist, do a single leg glute bridge instead, just alternating. All right, let's go. So I'm just doing heels down, but if that's making your toe cramp, just put the whole foot down, that's fine. I just want to emphasize that most of your weight, I want it in your heels on this one. Pause for a second at the top, just to make sure you can really hold that glute contraction. And make sure the heels aren't in too close to your butt. They should be under your knees when your hips lift. Rest. 30 seconds. All right, going through that just one more time. You got it. All right, grab those weights. Deadlift, back lunge. Feet about hips distance apart. Open through the chest. Engage the abdominals. One deadlift, one back lunge. Get low in that back lunge. And just alternate sides every time. Really finish each rep at the top. So when you come to the top, fire through the glutes, squeeze. Rack your weights, we have that squat. Now, I'm starting to struggle with those pulses, so I'm just gonna go up to 3 pulses, and then we'll start back down at 1. But if you're still feeling strong, to add 1 on every time you're at the bottom, do it. I want you doing the hardest version you possibly can without sacrificing proper form. It's been a few weeks since I've dusted off my heavy weights, and I'm feeling it. Oh, drop down to 1 weight. Clean, get up. Stack the weight up and down. Get low in your squat, grab that weight. Clean. Power comes from your legs on that one. Kneeling, kneeling, low squat, low squat. Try to alternate your lead side every time you do the get up. But if you forget, don't worry about it. Just do your best. When you do the get up, I want as little swaying side to side as possible. Whew, okay, kneeling, both weights or just one. You're gonna do that hip hinge. Let's go, feet together, knees about hips distance, bum to your heels. Fire through the glutes at the top. Your core is so important on this one. And remember, come all the way up to kneeling, almost to the point where it's like your feet want to lift off the mat slightly. Just because I don't want you leaning back and dumping that weight into your low back. Your bum is just tapping your heels. Try not to transfer weight. Ditch the weights. Oh. All right, last move. Alternating reverse tabletop. 1 leg at a time. If you need to modify, do both. Keep both heels down and just do this the whole time, okay? Otherwise, 1 heel down and then the next. Your gaze is forward, but you're not jamming your chin down into your chest. When you lift up, think fire through the glutes, Also brace the abdominals. Unlock your elbows for me. Make sure you're open across those collarbones. And done. Awesome. All right, you have a minute to recover. I'm going to show you the 2 exercises in our lower body Tabata. All right, just 2 exercises, no equipment needed, and you can put your heavy weights away. We're done with them. First exercise is going to be a drop squat with a hip twist. You're just light on the balls of your feet as you come to the top and twist those hips. To modify, it would just be a squat, knee drive and twist, squat, knee drive and twist. And that low impact modification will be playing in the corner. Second exercise, lunge hop, pivot to a squat, squat hop, pivot to a lunge the other way, little hop there. To modify that one, it would just be pulses. So you would pulse, pivot, pulse, pivot, pulse, and so on, staying low. All right, let's do it. Okay, drop squat, hip twist. Twist, low squat, twist. You're just on the balls of your feet when you do that little twist. Your hips are twisting, your chest stays pointing forward. Rest. All right, lunge hop, hop to a squat, squat hop, lunge other side. Lunge hop, hop to squat, squat hop, hop to lunge. Stay low. Rest. First set done. Drop squat, twist. The hop doesn't have to be huge. I want you staying pretty low. Oh. Rest. Halfway there. Drop squat, hip twist, let's go. Rest. Piggies. Okay, cut this out. I'm just trying to talk to try to get Pickles to leave. Excuse me, honey. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, you gotta move. Final 20 seconds. Let's go. You can always do that modification if you need to. Oh, I'm done. Oh, okay. You have a minute to recover. I'm going to show you our strength circuit. First up, palms face up. It's going to be a serve the platter, extending those arms in front, bringing them back down. And then it's going to be a lateral raise, lifting those elbows up to the side, palms face the floor at the top. From there, palms face the ground, arms stay pretty straight. It's going to be a lateral raise. You bring those weights to center, you lower in front. Then it's a front raise. You open the arms out, you lower them laterally. We then come into a hinge position, palms face us. It's going to be a wide row. And then it's going to be a tricep circle, bringing those weights behind your hips. We then come down to the mat. It's going to be a renegade row to a tricep kickback, alternating sides. To modify that one, do it in a tabletop instead, so your knees would be down on the mat. We finish body weight only. It's a rolling side plank. So you're going to be in a forearm side plank, feet stacked, and then you lower your hips, and almost coming into a hollow hold, you're going to roll through center and over to the other side. I'm going to start off with my 8-pound weights. First move, palms face up, elbows bent at your sides. It's going to be that serve the platter to our lateral raise. So on an exhale, extend those arms up in front of you, bring them down, and then lateral raise, palms face the floor. Back to start. So when you do that serve the platter, try not to rock your body weight back to counter it, okay? So you are engaged through your glutes and really engaged through your abdominal wall to help stabilize. Take your time with these, okay? I don't want you to rely on momentum. I'll show you from the side. Okay, 10 seconds of transition time. It's going to be that lateral raise, close it, front raise, palms face down. When you do the lateral raise, your arms can go in front of you, but just wide V shape, okay? Lift up to shoulder height, slide them in front of you, with control, lower them. Now it's a front raise, just reverse it. Up in front, separate them, and lower. If you want to stagger your feet, that can help as well, just to help prevent you from sinking into the low back if you do find yourself leaning. Okay, now we're going to come into our hinge position, palms facing towards you, hips slide back. It's going to be a wide row, and then that tricep circle. Open through the chest, reach your tailbone long. Wide row, and then circle. Palms face up as you circle behind you. So when you do this wide row, don't think of leading with the elbows. Think of first retracting through the shoulder blades, okay? So it's your back that initiates it, then the elbows follow. And don't worry about getting your elbows up super high, especially with the hands wide like this. It's not going to be the biggest range of motion ever. Stay long through the neck. All right, and we're going to come down to the mat for that renegade row to kick back. I'm going to keep one hand on the mat as I do it and just grab one weight as necessary, but you could also do this gripping your weights. All right, so you row, you kick back, reverse it, weight goes down, other side. Feet can be as wide as your mat to help with stability. If you want to make this harder, just bring them narrower. So when you do the row, think of rowing your elbow back and up, not straight up, because I don't want your shoulder to roll forward. So you think back and up, then kick back from there. That will bring you into the proper alignment. Okay, weights out of the way. We have that rolling side plank. So feet are stacked one on top of the other. forearm down, lift your hips up into a side plank. Now lower the hips, you're gonna roll to your butt, come through this hollow hold, and then just roll over to the other side. That forearm comes down, feet are stacked. Lift your hips straight up into that side plank, lower them down. Come through the hollow hold, legs are lifted, roll to the other side. In the side plank, pause for a second when those hips are lifted. And make sure you're not sinking into that bottom shoulder. Rest. Okay, we do that whole thing from the top. You have 30 seconds to recover here. I'm going to drop down to my 5-pound weights. I'll go back to my 8s after these first two, but dropping a little lighter. All right, so first up, serve the platter to that lateral raise. Palms face up. Open through the chest, brace the abdominals. Extend them out, bring it in. Lateral raise, palms face the floor at the top. So it's like a circular, it's like a little scoop. Now you could do these seated on a bench if you prefer, just a heads up. If you are standing, I want you to make sure you're neutral through the pelvis. So you might need to unlock the knees a little bit. Gentle squeeze through your glutes. All right, now next up, it's gonna be that lateral raise, close, front raise. Palms face the floor, arms stay straight. Not completely locked out through the elbow though. Lateral raise, holding at the top, slide them together. Lower them in front of you. Front raise, spread them apart, and lower. Again, don't rush through this. I don't want you to let gravity just bring your arms down, okay? Resist on the way down so everything is in your control. Whew, okay, I'm gonna go back to my 8s. We're in the hinged position. We have that wide row and then that tricep circle. Hip hinge, big lean forward with the torso. Wide row, and then we circle. I recommend exhaling as you pull back. That's just going to help you stay connected to your core so that you don't arch into your back as you do it. Make your way down to the mat. Plank position, renegade row with that tricep kickback. I'm doing it with one hand on the mat at a time, but you can always just grip the dumbbells, whatever works for you. Row. Take it to the other side. So you need to be really active through your legs as you do this. So think of squeezing your quads as if you could almost lift them up away from your kneecaps. And your modification for this will be to drop your knees down and do it in a tabletop instead. Now the arm that is not grabbing your weight, unlock through the elbow slightly, okay? Move the weights out of your way. You have those rolling side planks. Feet are stacked. Lift those hips up, don't sink into your bottom shoulder. And then you lower the hips, roll through center, roll to the other side, lift those hips up. When you lift up, think of pulling this top hip forward so that you're really stacked one on top of the other. You don't want to roll open. And rest, 30 seconds. All right, one final time through, and then you're done with your circuit work. We finish with one more Tabata. I'm gonna stick with the weights, the weight choice I did that previous one. So the first two, the shoulder heavy ones, I'm gonna do 5-pound weights, then I'll go back up to my 8-pound weights. Do whatever works for you. You wanna be challenged, but you don't want form to get sloppy. Serve the platter with that lateral raise coming up first. Elbows bent by your side, palm face up. Serve the platter out in front of you. Lateral raise as you lift those elbows, palms rotate to face the floor. Scoop it back to start. And you are not countering that forward extension by rocking your weight back. So think, just keep weight, some weight in your big toe as you extend forward. Most of the weight's gonna be in your heels, but I don't want you to rock back on them. Now when you do that lateral raise, make sure you're not shrugging your shoulders up to your ears, okay? They are rotating upward for sure, but I don't want you to pull them up. All right, we have that lateral raise, front raise combo. Staggered stance is an option if you need some help to prevent sinking into the low back. Palms face the ground. Lateral raise, slide them in front, lower them in front. Front raise, slide them wide, but you can see them in your peripheral vision. Don't go too wide, and lower. Now, if this rotation does not work for your shoulders, you could try doing the same exact move, but with your thumbs pointing up to the ceiling. It'll just bring your biceps in a little more, and just notice, maybe that works best for your shoulders. Whew, these get me every time. So challenging. Okay, I'm going to my 8s. Find that hinge position, wide row, tricep circle. Pull the elbows wide, and then circle. Just to show you a different angle on that wide row. So my palms stay facing towards my knees as I do it. And you're not worried about height, okay? I don't care how high up your elbows get. Think initiating it with your back muscles. Weights down to the mat, plank position, renegade row to kick back. Feet can be a little wider than normal because I want as little rocking of the hips as possible. So try not to roll open through the hips when you do that row. You want to think of pulling the hip down in line with the other one as best you can. And remember, when you're rowing, you're thinking of pulling that elbow back and up, not straight up. Last bit of work using your weights for the day. You got it. Woo, move the weights out of the way. We have those rolling side planks. Coming through that hollow hold. Stack your feet. Lower the hips, roll onto your butt. Come through center, over to the other side. You can do whatever you'd like with the arms when you're transitioning. If you reach your arms forward, going to be a little easier because you can kind of use them to help you move the body. If you keep the hands kind of behind your head, elbows wide, going to make it a little harder for your core. So up to you. Whew, and done. Okay, you have a minute to recover. I'm going to show you our final Tabata. First up, you're in a plank position. It's going to be a march on one arm and then one plank jack in and out. March on the other arm, one jack in and out. To modify that one, just take out the jack and you just give me a marching plank. Down to your forearms, up to straight arms, and you can always further modify that by doing it with your knees down on the mat. Second exercise is a jackknife. So heels down on the ground, legs straight, arms overhead. You're in an ab curl position. And then one at a time, you kick one leg up, bringing your hands towards the shin or the foot. To modify that one, instead of coming into sort of that sit-up position, you would keep your back down on the mat, but in the ab curl, and you would just do bent knees in one at a time. All right, final 4 minutes of work before we cool down. Let's do it. All right, one march, one jack. Start with your feet wide for the march, okay? And then you'll jack them in and out. So forearm back to straight arm, feet jump in, out, other arm. Forearm, straight arm, in, out. Rest. All right, come onto your back. We have those jackknives. I'm gonna have to go at an angle. So neutral through the low spine, ab curl position, arms overhead. I'm tight to the hamstrings, so I'm just bringing my hands to my shins, but maybe yours touch your foot. Now as you come back, maintain the ab curl position. So your upper shoulder blades and head never rest on the floor. Rest. Okay, back to that plank position. One march, one jack. Spread out through those hands. Feet can start wide. One march, one jack. Rest. Come onto your back. Jackknives. Halfway there. Come to your plank. One march, one jack. Rest. Rest. Final time, each exercise. Let's go. Rest. Jackknives to finish. You got it. Final 20 seconds. ab curl position. Let's go. Exhale as you sit up. And done. Lay all the way down. Awesome job. I'm going to bring you through a quick stretch now. Since we're already laying down, let's start with a figure 4. Take your left ankle, cross it over the right thigh, and then hug your right thigh into your chest. You can use your elbow to kind of press that left thigh out a little more so you feel that stretch through your glutes. Now we're going to drop this whole shape to the side up next. So keep your feet crossed. I just want you to plant your right foot down on the mat. And then we're going to drop the whole shape over to the right until your left foot lands on the mat. So you should now feel more outer hip. And stay in these stretches as long as you'd like, as always. You don't have to go at the same pace as me, but when you're ready, let's switch over to the other side. So now your right ankle crosses over the left thigh, and you're going to hug the shape in towards your chest, figure 4 stretch. Planting down through your left foot, we're going to drop the whole shape over to the left until your right foot plants on the floor. And stay here for a few breaths. When you're ready, we're going to come through center. Hands can come behind your thighs. We're just going to rock and roll up and down a couple times, and eventually we're going to come through seated into tabletop. So come up and then come to knees and hands in your tabletop position for a shoulder stretch. To start, I want you to take that left elbow. You're going to lift it up towards the ceiling, open twist. And then as you exhale, you're going to thread the needle. And then we can take this right arm and walk it forward. When you're ready, I'm going to walk this right hand in, come through center, same thing over to the right. So now your right elbow lifts up, open twist, and then thread the needle. And left arm can walk overhead. Let's walk that left hand in, come through tabletop, and then let's just find a comfortable seated position to finish. 2 deep breaths together. My mic is a mess. Inhale, arms up overhead. And exhale, release. One more time. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, let it go. Awesome work today. That is your class.